Okay. Oh wow. Man, I don't know where to begin. So, I planned to make a video for the live stream analysis, and I was planning to upload and make that D-Day. But, my lord, that live stream gave me a huge because so many things happen. With that, I obviously cannot finish it in D-Day because, oh my god, what the was that? Lore, rewards, banners, free constellations, and if that wasn't good enough, they hired Aurora for this. You don't know how excited I was when I see her face on screen. Just for context, she sang for Frozen 2, yeah, she sang that. Also, yeah, that's my voice. You don't know I was jumping around like crazy when she appeared because I love her. Okay, but seriously, I want to sleep. I haven't slept for 2 fucking days because I was editing another video in the meantime, which go watch that. Anyways, in today's video, we'll talk about the lore side of Genshin. If you want more detailed gameplay and rewards, you can look at Genshin's official special program recap, and they did an amazing job at retelling you everything that happened during the special program. But just for TLDR, what you need to know is that you'll get the usual anniversary rewards, the standard 5-star character, and 4-star constellations of selection of characters all the way from Mondstadt to Sumeru, excluding the Archons, Kazuha, Yelan, and Alhaitham. We'll talk about the last part in a different video that I'll upload very soon. As always, don't forget to give this video a like and comment so the channel can be noticed by the algorithm. My name is Glitchxcity and I make lore and commentary videos on the channel to keep you company. But before that, a friendly reminder that Notcry is finally on the horizon. Llama will be the premium support for Bloom teams while Flints will be an electro-charged DPS. Both of them introduced a new mechanic called the Lunar Reaction, a mechanic that will enhance the pre-existing elemental reactions to a stronger version of themselves. If you need extra promo gems to pull for them, then allow me to introduce you to Lootbar. Lootbar is a reliable site for a fast, secure, and super reliable top-up experience for your Genesis Crystal. Additionally, they provide 25% discounts compared to normal prices in-game. Once you start your top-up, they will only ask for your UID, nothing else, so your privacy is guaranteed, and your items will arrive to your account in less than 2 minutes. If you're playing on PlayStation 5 or Xbox, they're available for both of them as well. Over 20,000 Trustpilot reviews are showing their satisfaction after using Lootbar, and if you have any problem with your transaction, their customer service is available around the clock to help you out. Other than Genshin Impact, Lootbar is also available for other games as well, such as Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero, etc. Click the link in the description below and register to get an additional 10% coupon that can be combined with all other discounts. Now let's continue to the content. Let's start slow. Y'all, my heart is beating really fast, okay, so please cut me some slack here. I drank 4 coffees to keep myself awake. I'm basically a fucking sim character at this point. Anyway, let's get into what the livestream said. The first thing you need to know about Notcry is that the place is an autonomous part of Snezhnaya. One misconception I found is that Notcry is a new region and its own nation. While lore-wise it's somewhat true because it was named that way 500 years ago, it's also not because it is stated plenty of times that Notcry is part of Snezhnaya. It's just that it became autonomous 500 years ago. So when Yaimiko said that Notcry is new in her birthday letter, it's not completely wrong either. Also, according to the concept webpage, Notcry is said to be the moon remnants that failed to ascend to the sky, and Nibelung either created it as a trial test or remnants that just failed to ascend. That 4th moon became to what we now know as Notcry. According to the livestream, COLUMBINA was born here, so she could likely be that 4th moon sister that failed to ascend. Either that or COLUMBINA is the frost moon herself because it is said that she wants to go back to the moon that was once hers. However, I am more inclined to believe the first theory here considering the Moon Sister seems to be different individuals and the Frost Moon is personified as a fox. The version's name is called Segway, and just like other Moon Sisters' names, Segway is also part of a musical term meaning no interruption. It could mean that we are introduced to each of every faction for version Luna 1, which is not too surprising given there are many things that we are needed to familiarize ourselves with. Speaking of version Luna, there's actually a reason why it's named that way. You see, the version starts at Luna 1, not Luna 0, meaning there will be 8 Luna versions throughout Song of Welkin Moon because there are 8 Luna phases of the moon. Interesting, isn't it? Also, I love how Inafus VA pointed out how random God's Limits trailer was released. You know.
Just an average Wednesday.
Okay, so in the trailer, Ether say that this is where his and Lumin's spaceship landed. This could mean that the twins first stepped out from their pod in Notcry. This is where I was like, wait, how? I mean, sure, I'm not that surprised because Notcry is said to be at the borderline of THAT. It just came to me like, how big is Kaenvia? It seems that just like in Sumeru, there's another door near Notcry, especially the lore implies that Notcry was the very first place to get attacked by the abyssal monsters during the Cataclysm. Until today, Notcry is still frequently attacked by the Abyss, which is interesting because it is implied in Long Night South that there will be another war similar to the second Wild Hunt invasion that happened in Notcry's recent history. Not only that, the developers accidentally leaked Notcry's map, and it is indeed on top of Ochkanatlan, where this place is literally became the Abyss Nest. This makes a lot of sense, and this also makes Tenochtitlan's place even more dangerous than it actually is, considering Marijivari is nearby this place. But the Atlas is like, we're used to it. Because we talk about the Abyss, let's talk about the Sung Jinwoo of Genshin Impact, Flins. While watching this video, I also looked at inspiration on Kat's video, and he did mention something interesting that I also had in mind. Flins is likely not a human, and I think I know the answer to this because Ray, a friend of mine in Discord, pointed this out. You see, in the Long Night South, it is said that there is blue fire at the end of the battle in Lempo Isle. Lempo Isle is basically the place where the Kling Klang Krumkaka craft shop resides, by the way, and this blue fire could likely be Flint's himself. I always believed that the events in Lempo Isle could have happened a lot more recent than the other artifacts, especially how the story in this artifact refers to two Wild Hunt invasions. The first one was during the Cataclysm, and in fact, Notcry was the first area that is affected by the Abyss, and the second one was a lot more recent. Speaking of Lempo Isle, it is also revealed that a lot of the machines are created by Aino herself. This makes her another victim to one of the strongest characters lore-wise, but then made into a 4-star gameplay-wise. The other victims in the past are characters like Ningguang and Beidou, where they are portrayed to be so differently than their gameplay. Anyway, Aino is the creator of Inafa, and she also created the whole place in Lempo Isle. It is also said that she created the huge cannon in Nasha Town, a literal cannon that you can see during the trailer. Insane, ridiculous. This little girl should be friends with Klee. The developers also introduced us something interesting regarding the core of Notcry's lore. Just like the primordial water of Fontaine and phlogiston of Natlan, Notcry also has primordial power during the ancient dragon civilization called the Kuvaki. In Finnish, Kuvaki means moonshine, and some of the Fatui soldiers from Notcry were sent by a Fatui harbinger, likely the Torre, to Natlan in order to research this particular power because the ancient moon's remnants made its appearance when Mabuika broke the sky. You can find about this in the Atokpan region. Just like in Natlan, the Kuvaki is used as a power source for people of Notcry to use in their daily life. People all over THAT gather here in order to harness this power, and we do see a lot of different factions, including the Melusines, visit Notcry. It goes as far as even Dori already made her shop in Nashata. Speaking of her, Never is a part of the Voynich Guild, more specifically the Curatorium of Secrets. Just for a little throwback, Nefer is the boss lady that the Song of Welkin Moon webpage refers to. Nefer also says that the Kuvaki affects everything, including the climate, the nature, the soil, the terrain, and even some of the living creatures. The traveler can use the power of the Kuvaki in Notcry, and so are the enemies. It is also said that the moon wheels also harness the power of the Kuvaki, and it is further confirmed by the developers that the moon wheels harness the power from the 3 moons. This is also the reason why lunar reactions are that way, and the developers say that they will be updating more reactions to fit in the lunar theme. Also, it's extremely vague, but it seems that Jehoda is a cryo user while Nefer seems to be a Dendro user, likely using a vision instead of a moon wheel. This is interesting because her affiliation is likely with the civilization of King Deshret because of how her clothes seems to be part of the Sumeru desert. She is also said to be able to see the past, present, and future according to Inafa, and because of Sumeru's whole shenanigans with the Irminsul, she could be one of those characters that can see the history in there as well. Nefer also said in the Moonlit Ballad of the Night that a better storyteller has come, referring to Nicole, so it's likely that she and Nicole knew each other. Also, speaking of the Curatorium of Secrets, Nefer said that they will remain neutral to all of the factions that appear in Notcry. This is definitely interesting because according to Ningguang, they're actually one of the strongest factions in Notcry, and this is supported by Liben, who say that the Voynich Guild is the only faction that upheld the law. Anyway, we then learn more from the developers that the Kuvaki can be broken into different elemental forces and is one of the powers from the Light Realm. If you are lost, the Light Realm is the original realm of THAT before the Heavenly Principles came to diffract it into 7 elements, creating the human realm, and so far from what we know from Yohwal Techuhtin, Phlogiston is one of those powers that is used as the basis. Considering that's the case, then the Kuvaki is also used as the base as well, and probably the main ingredient. These Silius lookalikes that we first saw in the Notcry teaser are called the Kuhenki, meaning the moon spirit in Finnish. The Cole, who is visually implied to be an angel in the Moonlit Ballad of the Night, talked to the Kuhenkis, meaning they might be similar in race. The finale of the Deep Galleries implied that the angels were forced to follow the heavenly principles. It is also said in the same artifact and the fractured halo that the Moon Sisters are unable to answer the dragons when the 11th ruler Anshuquatl went and visited them personally. This could heavily imply that the Moon Sisters, the angels, and the Kuhenkis are strongly connected to each other. Also, I have no proof, but do you think that the Kuhenkis are likely the Snowland phase? Speaking of the moons, Lama is the leader of the Frost Moon Scions and also a moon chanter, basically a priest of the tribe, guiding the devotees and listening to their worries. They worship a moon goddess named Kutar. Kutar in Finnish mythology is indeed a moon goddess, so the name itself is actually quite literal, especially in Finnish. Ku means the moon. It is said she weaves clothes out of the gold she owns from her domain, matching with the Frost Moon Scions where they are the descendants of Hyperborea. In the trailer, we are hinted that the moon goddess would return. While it did come to pass, it's also not really. There are 2 possibilities of who Kutar is being referred to, but it's likely the Frost Moon herself, the remaining moon sister whose corpse is lying in the sky. Even though her corpse lays silent, her will isn't, so she is likely still alive. To some extent at least. We know that one of the ways for the Archons to gain their power is from their people's devotion. So if the Frost Moon Scions are still devoted towards her, then it might be one of the reasons why her will still survive until this day. However, there is also a chance that Kutar is the new moon because of the statue of the new moon that clearly resembles COLUMBINA. It might explain why Lama say that the prophecy indeed came true, but also not really. Also, you might remember this place here, and sadly they don't really reveal what is the name of this particular architecture. However, if you remember on the Trail of Behemoth's event, Helka told us that she saw a similar stripe of the secret source technology in his sea island, so this particular architecture is likely part of the secret source technology. This place could also be where Niflheim is, a place mentioned by the 8th ruler in Innafa's Moon Wheel lore. This is not too surprising because the ancient moon remnants are revealed to be part of it as well. And speaking of dragon technology, Aino told us in the trailer that the Frost Moon Scions have an ancient relic that allows them to see the true past. Now, I don't think they literally see it, but rather enters a state of dreaming, if that makes sense. Not only that, this could imply that the Frost Moon Scions are knowledgeable towards dragon civilization in the past and what happened during the reign of the Heavenly Principles prior to the War of Vengeance. But Lamas say that they're still trying to figure out the whole thing themselves, but we'll talk about this in a bit. Either that, or the Frost Moon Scions are few of those people who are not susceptible towards Irminsul changes. Just for a reminder, the Irminsul of THAT can be tampered with, and in the Moonlit Ballad of the Night, it is implied that the water in Outcry is unique because it can see the truth behind a lie. It's also backed up with how Wanderer's reflection shows himself as Scaramouche instead of the Wanderer. Nefer also said that the artifact is stolen and likely at the hands of the Fatui, which could imply they are researching for something primordial to the moon's past. Speaking of that, we get to finally learn why Columbina is referred to as the Moon Maiden instead of the Harbinger. That's because she left the Fatui. This is interesting because this could relate to the Fatui's recent history where they let the Lightkeepers almost get wiped away during the second invasion of the Wild Hunts, even though they promised them to be their backup. Either that, or it could relate to how the moon might fall into THAT, because in the moonlit ballad of the night trailer, she refers to the veil of lies is slipping, likely referring to the fall sky. Currently, she is hiding somewhere, and it seems that place is what the devs referred to as the Silver Moon Hall. You know, the moment they say that, one thing that suddenly came to my mind is the Lunar Palace, so it's interesting that we might learn more about this place in Notcry. Also, I am somewhat not too surprised that they say COLUMBINA left the Fatui, because if you remember, Capitano said that all of the Fatui Harbinger's freedom will take precedence over the Tsaritsa's orders. This even matches with Snezhnaya's introduction as well.
She is a god with no love left for her people, nor do they have any left for her. Her followers hope only to be on her side when the day of her rebellion against the divine comes at last.
Also, I just want to say that Lama has a triquetra under her, and it's the same triquetra as Neuvillette. So it's possible that the triquetra all this time means the Moon Sisters. But again, that's just how I see it. I don't really have anything to say for that right now. Now, I am going to give you a strong speculation that COLUMBINA might return to the Fatui in one way or another, and I think that Capitano will also return. The reason I say this is because the Ignition teaser's timeline is super weird. It feels like the teaser happened long after their war has ended. Everyone had sports competition, Silali doesn't even want to attend, Shilonen said it's that time of the year again, as if she doesn't know that the pilgrimage takes place very often every year, and Mavuika said the winners will take all, like, girl, your people are facing the abyss. Sure, they got honor, but what do you mean by all? The eeriest one, Mavuika and Capitano talk to each other, as if like they know each other. And this is super weird because prior to the Archon quest, they never met each other before, and when they did, she didn't even recognize him to be the same Thrain from 500 years ago. Now of course, this is just scoping, so take it what you will. Speaking of that, they talk about the Fatui as a whole. There's not much information that we got from the developers, but we have revealed that all of the statues of the new moon will be different across Notcry, including the one in the Kuvaki Experimental Bureau in Baha Isle. We are also revealed further that the Bureau was indeed made to harness and steal the moon's power. It's very likely that this power is also made to seize the authority of the gods, likely referring to, of course, the heavenly principles and his four shades. The marionette, Sandrone, is also currently active in Notcry, and judging from the trailer itself, it seems she is confirmed to be the creator of Catherine. Although, I might want to take it with a grain of salt because usually, Genshin likes to mislead their viewers, but as to how it is implied many times and how the adventure skills description says there's someone waiting for us, then that person could likely be Sandrone, and she is likely the creator of Catherine. Also, the most important part of all of this Fatui member is on fire! Alright, so that's the lore part, and while this refers more to gameplay, this one is related to the lore experience. The first thing you need to know is that the Archon quests will be fused together with the story quests. To the developers, this is a perfect way to tell the Song of Welkin Moon storyline because these characters will have a major role in the update. This is quite interesting because if you play Honkai Star Rail, this is basically Amphorius' storytelling. Now there are things I am iffy with regarding this storytelling, because in the Amphorius storyline, the story behind the Chrysos heirs are a little bit too convoluted. It could be because of the lack of animations, frequent black screens, and frequent illustrations, which did break my immersion a bit. And I remember my Diantribes portion of the story took so long that it's almost unbearable for me to play the story. It's good, don't get me wrong, just not really the best experience. That's the concern I have regarding the storytelling, but I do hope they learn from the feedback in Honkai Star Rail and implement it in Genshin as well, making it as immersive as possible. They did say that some of the characters you obtain in Notcry will give you different exploration experience, like how the Frostmoon Sirens will give respect if you switch to Llama, while both Inafa and Flints are going to be the Google Translate of both the robots and the wild hunts respectively. But back to the story quest and the Archon quest a bit, it seems they will only do this to the characters that will be relevant in the Archon quests. So filler characters like Faressa, Escoffier, Emily, and Chiori equivalent probably won't get the same treatment. However, the devs also say that the new meeting point system will be the hangouts and story quests merged together, where instead of the travelers meeting them in a specific place and time, we'll have the option to meet them whenever we want. It's similar to what we are experiencing with Inafa right now, where we can meet her across Natlan. This system seems to fuse with the reputation and tribe reputation system as well, where you will obtain rewards by exploring the area, and it's also the new tree system, like, you know, the Fountain of Lucine and Tablet of Tonal equivalent, that we will offer our sigils to obtain rewards. If I can describe it in another way, think of it like all-in-one shampoo. Also, this sorta applies the same way with COLUMBINA, where we can meet her in the Silver Moon Hall to do her some favors. It is said that she'll aid us in Outcry once we do just that, likely referring to the Kuvaki exploration system. Speaking of that, the Traveler's Tales will be permanent. If you remember, this is the same event that was teased to us, and they made this event in order to further enhance the experience of playing the game by having the playable characters in the overworld. You can visit the Grand Narukami Shrine if you want to have the characters guaranteed to appear in the open world. Also, this animation over here, I joked about it being League of Legends for a second, and if you didn't realize it just yet, because it was produced the same studio as Arcane. We also get the We also get the Minecraft Genshin this year, so MOBA Genshin is possible. Nice, now I can use my Ultimatum as a jungler. If you watch my channel long enough, you know that I analyze Genshin's life symphony for Natlan, and I have to say, that analysis aged really well. Not only the song is indeed the Ode of Resurrection, but the final act is also where the Natlanis chant the song when Mavuika and the Traveler are about to lose to the Abyss. Now let's do the same thing with Not Cry. First of all, Aurora, hello! And secondly, Not Cry's main theme, just like Cardonation's, is named as the area's name itself, Not Cry. That being said, this song will likely give us a clear picture on what we can expect in this nation, and I likely suspect that the Frostmoon Scions is going to be the most important faction, considering this song seems to be about them. They are implied to be the first dwellers of Not Cry anyway, and it perfectly matches with the webpage because they are the part of the 3 factions in the center, meaning they'll be the most important out of the 11 factions that we are introduced to. They also emphasize the Frostmoon Scions to be the most important one anyway, because they introduce Hisi Island first before other locations. The beginning of the song feels like a mourning, the same like the Frostmoon Scions, where they still mourn the 3 moons that died during the War of Vengeance, and also their brethrens. This could mean that they know about the First Angel and the Voyager's deeds. The Frostmoon Scions abandoned their homeland, but they never abandoned their devotion towards the Moon Goddess. Remember when I said that Llama is trying to piece together the true past of THAT? What if the beginning of the song hints that? Because at the beginning, the song's lyrics state the little doves from the Golden City, Hyperborea. Hyperborea is one of the most ancient civilizations of THAT, and it's strongly implied to be part of the unified civilization alongside Enkanomia, the Solvindeknir, and the Old Natlan before the dragons took over again. The doves here is very specific wording because, once again, before sun and moon. That's right, in the Before Sun and Moon, the doves were mentioned as they are the very first age when the heavenly principles came and triumphed against the dragons. And this age is called when the doves held branches. That could likely be a part of Hyperborea where there's the Irminsul tree. Anyway, the song talks about the darkness that taints the land. This could also mean they were talking about Not Cry's contamination towards the Abyss, but I kinda doubt that because the next part of the song say their city is buried under the nettles, and right now, Hyperborea has sunk under the depths of the sea. The War of Vengeance is where Nibelung brought the forbidden knowledge to the world anyway, so it's likely referring to that war and how the Abyss also invaded. The next part of the song is interesting because this feels like the Frostmoon Scions are questioning the moon herself. You may remember that Llama said that the prophecy of the moon goddess returning came true, but not quite. This could likely refer to either COLUMBINA or the Frostmoon herself because currently, a lot of the devotees are starting to question whether the moon deity is there or not, and Llama can only step out of the shades of the tree, proving the people that the moon will answer them as her horns grew under the moonlight. This part of the song could even be the cries of the people during the War of Vengeance. In the finale of the Deep Galleries, it's rather unclear what happened to the Moon Sisters after the Heavenly Principles cast the Celestial Nails. In the Moonlit Bamboo Forest, however, it is implied that they fought amongst each other and only the Frost Moon remained as per the webpage. Whatever this could imply, it seems that their demise also happened during the War of Vengeance. Also, one interesting thing about the song is this one specific lyric. We will follow your light wherever you go. We would rather let the frigid night of death blind our eyes than to sing in disgrace for the false radiance. I am 100% convinced that the Frost Moon Scions are not siding with the Heavenly Principles once I hear that lyric, because if you think about it again, the finale of the Deep Galleries state that the people of Hyperborea still follow the orders of the First Angel in creating the Snowland phase, and the Frost Moon herself personally aided them in doing so. That adds one more Heavenly Principles hater to the list. The fan club is going strong, everyone. The next part makes me question something because it is implied that the Moon Goddess was bound and humiliated. Now this is interesting and intense because, okay, heavy theory speculation time. But what if that Moon Goddess is the Frost Moon? Because here's the thing. The Frost Moon aided the people of Hyperborea personally, and it was during the same time as the war that the sisters died. I personally don't think that the lyric is quite literal, but could say something here. In the Moonpiercer, it was said that the Frost Moon was so overcome with sorrow that she would never leave her palace again. We don't know what sort of sorrow this sister had, but what if it was because of that punishment? It is somewhat implied in the finale of the Deep Galleries that the Frost Moon was the most involved in aiding the people of Hyperborea, and she was likely the moon that was punished. So, what if the other two sisters were not fighting against each other, but trying to save their sister? Because here's the thing, what the two sisters did affected THAT during the Heavenly Principles' reign. Floods happened and the Crimson Moon sank into the Abyssal Sea, and as per Skirk, both shattered and one remained intact, but the Void of Life with her will still remains. King Deshret also said that the moon should have been 3, so the one we saw right now is nothing but an illusion. It is in fact proven in the Act 4 of Natlan's Ark Conquest. And one interesting thing, the song states that the Frost Moon will be back and bring them back home. So there might be a chance that we will see the Frost Moon finally came back, and that moon could likely refer to COLUMBINA as well. Or it could be another way. In the final verse, the queen starts kicking up the notch. It's as if they're implying that Aurora is the personification of the Frost Moon here. And it's as if the Frost Moon is calming the people down because she was never dead. And it is true, while the moon is the void of life, the will of the moon still remains. She also promised her people that the new moon will rise once again, washing the evil like the azure sea that washes all evil away for the people who believed in the new moon and hoped for tomorrow. This made COLUMBINA's goal clear. She left the Fatui because of the Frost Moon Scions, as they're the only faction left in this game that still yearns for the moon. The Fatui trying to claim her back to the Fatui also makes a lot of sense now, because COLUMBINA is an important asset for them. This also makes the lines about her from other Harbingers make a lot of sense, because her power is that terrifying. Now here's the crack. Before she was the Void of Life, she promised her people that one day, a new moon will rise in her stead, overthrow the false radiance that befell in this land, or in other words, overthrowing the heavenly principles. She will love all life equally, whether it's dragons or humans alike, and will shower her radiance to everyone. And that moon will be COLUMBINA, the new moon, or the new moon goddess of THAT.